All right, guys, so this is going to be a speed test between the Acasis versus the Trebleet. All right, let's get into it. What I'm going to do first is I will show you what is actually inside of these devices, and then I will go from there. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go inside the Acasis, and I'm going to open up from here. And this has in the Western Digital 4 terabyte drive that is inside this one. It also has the heat adhesive right here to help with dissipating heat. Close that. And also the Trebleet, I have to open this with a screwdriver. And this one also have the heat adhesive as well, but this one has in the the Samsung 990 Pro in there. And what I can also do too, guys, is I can switch between each just so you guys can actually see if you guys would like to see that. But for now, what I'm going to do is just to test and see what Enclosure Speed offers with these two different drives. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to enclose this back. All right, and I'll put the screw to the side for now. And what I'm going to do first, guys, is I will test and see how fast, once you plug it into the computer, does it access the actual drive itself inside. All right, so let's just test that first. All right, so what I'll do is I'll just come here and open up my timer, and I'll just open this in a new window. I'll put this here, and then first thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to test the Acasis first. So once I'm going to just put it there, it has not been plugged in yet. And all I'm going to do is put my mouse over here and see how long, because what I want to test is how fast does the drive appear on the computer screen. All right, so I'm going to plug that in and start the test. So about 4 seconds it took to come on the screen. All right, so this took about 4 seconds, and then I'm going to just eject this one. And then I'm going to plug in the Trebleet and see how fast this comes up. And plug it in and then press play. And it took about 5 seconds. So about a second ahead, the Acasis came on a little bit faster. That's fine. So what we want to do now, guys, is first we want to test the drives inside of each of these. All right, so let's go first. Let me open up. I just want to make sure I tell you guys the correct thing. So the Western Digital has a rated up to 7,300 megabits per second, and then the Samsung has a rating of up to 7,450. All right, so those are the difference there in terms of the speed that you should be able to expect. All right, so what we're gonna do first, since I have the Trebleet plugged in first, I'm gonna start with that one first, and I'm gonna just show you guys. If I open up the drive here, you're gonna see that it is actually empty. Let me just stop this timer over here. All right, so you can see that the drive is actually empty. All right, so first what we're going to do now is I'm going to open up disk mask. All right, I'm going to use that. So I'll close this, and then now what I'll do is I'm going to just select the drive, choose. So once it's selected now, I'm now going to just start it here and see how much speed I get. And I'm getting about 7,040 on this. And on the right, I'm getting about 6,561.02. The next thing now I'm going to do is I'm going to unplug this and then plug in the Acasis and then go from there. Let's eject. All right, so now that the Acasis is plugged in, what we're going to do now is we're going to test that and see what we do get. So first, let's just select the drive. And this has in the Western Digital in there, okay? And we're gonna go and test that. So we're getting slower speeds over here. So now we're getting 6920.38 on the read. And then we're getting 5837.58 on the write. So we're getting slower speeds on the Acasis here, and then we're getting, So what I'm gonna do now is I will transfer each of the drives over just to see if each of them are going to offer something different from what we would like. All right, so what I'll do is I will unplug this. All right, so let me just take this out. And the one thing I like about the Acasis is it's more toolless, and you just literally just remove this grommet from here, this rubber grommet from here, take it out, and all you do is just take it out just like that, and you are pretty much done with it. All right, and then we'll close that, put that there for now. I'm going to open this. This one now we definitely have to use a screw in order to get this out. All right, so let's just do that now. All right, so now that this is out, I'm going to plug this drive in here and put the rubber grommet in. So you can see there, and it's pretty easy, and just like that it's in. Okay, and now we're just going to put this part in first, like so. And boom, it's in. And then I'm going to put in the Western Digital inside here, just so we're kind of getting a fair enough test, and we'll go from there. The one thing I can say that I do enjoy with Acasis so far is the toolless. I love how the fact that I don't have to use any form of tools in order to get in or out the drive itself. All right, that's the one thing I love so far. All right, so what I'm going to do is let's go back. The switch now with the Western Digital inside the Acasis. All right, or rather, sorry, the Samsung 990 inside the Acasis. And now we're going to do a speed test. So let us open back this, and let's select our Samsung, choose, and then just do our test and see. And we're still getting the same. So it's not necessarily the drive itself, it's more the enclosure. So we're still getting that 7,000 inside the Acasis. But let's just test it now and see what happens when we do the same test with the other drive in here. All right, so we're going to eject this. Let's do a screenshot of that. All right, and then let's eject this one. All right, so now this is already in, and let's just do that. So now this is the Western Digital inside the Trebleet enclosure. All right, so we're going to select that, and then we're going to start. So pretty much the speeds that we're getting is comparable between both. So in other words, the enclosures are fine. It is just the actual NVMe SSDs themselves. So we're getting a better speed on the 990 versus the Western Digital. So the speeds are a lot higher. And like I mentioned before, they predict that you're going to get up to 7,450 megabits per second on the 990. And also if we go back to the Western Digital, they're saying we're getting about 7,300. All right, so just keep that in mind, guys. I'll do another screenshot with this one so that we have it. Cool. So now what I want to do, guys, is we're going to do a stress test on these, okay? So let's just eject. No, we don't need to eject. Let's just close this. So we've done our speed test and we're good. with our speed test. So what I want to do now is I want to take a file from the hard drive, the main hard drive, which is on the studio, to the enclosures and vice versa, and see what we get. All right. So what we're gonna do is first let's just test the speed on the internal hard drive and see what kind of speed do we get. So I have the Mac Studio M4 and the 1 terabyte inside this drive. All right, so what I'm gonna do is already selected, and then I'm just gonna run a test. So I'm getting about 6,097.21. And now I'm getting the 6,004, so I'm getting a higher read, which is pretty fast, you know, so that's pretty good. I'm just do a screen grab of that. So at least you guys can have an idea. So definitely the NVMEs are much faster than the internal storage that I do have on my studio, so let's keep that in mind. All right, so now that we have done that, now what I'm gonna do is I'm opening up this here so that I can actually do our test, okay? So now what I'm gonna do is this folder is about 160, let's just check that and see. And it's about 160, as you can see here on the screen, all right? So we know that the size here, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a test to see how fast this transfer from my main hard drive to the Western Digital NVMe, and we're going to test that and see how long we get. If it's taking too long, guys, I will actually just speed the video up. All right, so I will just drag it and let it go. All right, let's see how fast that is, and that is going blazingly fast. Wow, that is going fast. Wow. That's about 25 seconds, guys. 25 seconds on the Western Digital, guys. That is crazy. What I'm gonna do just for an extra thing is I'll delete this. Let me just empty my trash. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come here, come to applications, and then go to activity monitor. And I'm gonna go to disk. And all I'm gonna do, I just wanna have this on the screen so that you guys can see what is really happening, okay? So now I'm gonna do that same test one more time, just so that we have, let me put this to the side over here and put this to the right over here. So that way we kind of just have what is actually going on with the drive, all right? So I'm gonna do that one more time. So we got about 25 seconds. So let's just test this again and see what happened. And 1, 2, 3, and go. So right now, the data rate we're getting right now is about 6 gigabits per second. And that the read and write is pretty good. That's pretty good. And it's going and it's going and it's going and it's going. So just about the same 24, 25 seconds, guys. It's pretty much just about the same we're getting with the speeds here, and that is pretty darn good. So what we're gonna do now, guys, is we're going to take from the Western Digital to the main hard drive. So what I'll do is, because if I do that, it's gonna tell me that the file is already there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna create a temp folder. I'm just gonna call it temp. So that way, you know, when I drag it to the actual desktop itself, it is going to just not give me that message, all right? So all I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna drag it to the temp folder and just let it go and start. So it looks like I'm actually getting a higher data read per second from the SSD to the main hard drive. And let's see. So we get about 22, 23 seconds, guys. And if I'm being honest, that's pretty quick in any way you want to take it. All right, so what I'm going to do is I will remove this because we don't need to have this. So I'm just going to remove that. Or as a matter of fact, let me just remove, that doesn't matter. Let me just remove this into the trash because we don't need that. Okay, so now that we have done the tests with that, let's remove this from the Western Digital as well because we don't need that. Let's just empty the bin. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to eject. All right, let's just eject. All right, cool. So now that we have done that, guys, and the one thing I have to share with you guys is the loudness of the fan on the Trebleet, because what happened is when you, let me just take my mic off and take a listen. That's the sound of the fan right there. So unplug that and put this to the side. Now we're gonna plug in the cases. All right, so now that we have the cases plugged in with the Samsung, what I'm going to do, let me just create by the temp file here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drag that same folder inside that drive and see how fast we go. Let's just stop this, put it out back, and then now we're just going to drag this in here and start. So it's going. Not bad at all. So we got about the same 24, 25 seconds, and those are pretty comparable speeds, guys, if you ask me. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the reverse, and then we're gonna take it back from the drive to the hard drive and see how fast it goes. Let's just reset this. And now we're gonna just go, drag it to that, and start. So we're getting about 23, 24 right there, guys. So those are pretty good speeds, guys. So my main reason for doing this, guys, is if I'm just go over here. All right, so if you're looking at this right here now, guys, this is pretty much what I have in terms of, you know, specifications. This is pretty much what I have, right? But if I'm supposed to want to increase my internal storage from this 1 terabyte to the 4 terabyte, I'm going to be spending about $900, guys. And that to me is a ripoff. But if you go to Amazon, I'm going to have, just keep in mind that I'm going to have these links down below. If you guys want to use those links to purchase some of these, you can definitely use them. But if I should talk about the Acasis Enclosure, you're going to spend about $300 on the Enclosure, right? And whether it is going to be the Western Digital or the Samsung, you're going to spend about the same $300, close to it, because like $289 for one and $299 for the other. All right, and it still does not come up. You're saving about $400 for storage. All right, so if you think about that, guys, you're going to be saving some money, and these speeds are much faster than what you have in the internal of the Mac Studio. Whether you go with the Mac Studio or you go with the Mac Mini, it doesn't really matter. The point is, guys, I'm saying is, if you want to save some money, you can go this route by purchasing the Enclosure as well as the NVMe SSDs, and you're good to go, you're golden. So I just wanted to do this video for you guys so that you can have a choice. At the end of the day, it's all about a choice, guys. And if you want to save some money, you can definitely have these as options for Drive, because I've actually used these to edit videos, YouTube videos that are actually posts on my YouTube channel. So since I've gotten these, I've used them and they work pretty well, and there's no blackouts or anything of that nature, guys, and the speeds are really, really fine. So let me know in the description, let me know in the comment section below, guys, what you guys thought about this. Is there something I should have done differently, or do you think that I've done enough to just kind of show you guys what the capabilities are if you want to get an NVMe? All right, guys, so if you guys enjoyed this video, guys, smash that like button, guys. If you guys are new to the channel, subscribe for more if you do like videos like this, and check this video out over here, guys, I think you might like. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.